Friends, I welcome everyone to my channel. Today I want to tell the story of my friend. She shared with me a very unpleasant story about her mother-in-law, who tried her best to destroy their marriage. Take your favorite treats, sit back, and let's go. My mother-in-law once made a lot of efforts to destroy our marriage. The main trump card in her deck was the apartment in which my husband lived at that time. She blackmailed him recklessly, but the son did not succumb to it. We met Gleb at university. At first we were friends, and then we started dating. We did not live together because my parents adhered to the rule that first a wedding and only then cohabitation. I introduced my future husband to my parents when we were just friends. He often visited our house. My parents treated him well and still do. I didn't know Gleb's mom. We didn't cross paths because he lived in a separate apartment. But when we started talking about the wedding, acquaintance became inevitable. And it went badly. The mother of the future husband did not like me at all. I don't know what she saw as a good match for her eldest son, but for some reason, I was not suitable for this role. All evening she twisted her face, as if I smelled something unpleasant. She asked questions with some kind of malice, with a trick. Gleb didn't know where to put himself anymore. It was uncomfortable for me too, but upbringing didn't let me just get up and leave. "And where do you plan to live?" She asked another question. "How where?" "In my apartment," Gleb replied in bewilderment. "You don't have your own apartment, son," his mother corrected him sententiously. "This is my apartment, in which I allowed you to live. Don't forget that." It became completely awkward. I realized that some kind of family drama was being played out here, in which I absolutely did not want to participate. I didn't give a damn about all decency, somehow crumpled up and said goodbye and went home with great relief. Gleb and I hardly talked for a week, and then he asked me to come and help him. I didn't immediately understand what I needed to help with, but I went. It turns out that he was packing his things, and he needed help to vacate his mother's apartment as soon as possible. At first, he was silent, and then he burst out. Imagine, she gave me an ultimatum. Either we split up, or I have to vacate the apartment. She said that if I don't take her opinion into account, then she doesn't have to help me. No, can you imagine? I've never seen my husband so angry, and I hope I won't see him again. I was confused. His mom's act didn't fit in my head. It seems to me that it is very strange to put my son before such a choice. I was automatically putting things in a bag, and then I realized to ask where he was going to live. He replied that he would stay with friends and then rent an apartment. I went to the kitchen to call my dad. I managed to persuade them and my mother to have Gleb move in with us. He denied it at first, but I persuaded him anyway. At home, she and Dad locked themselves in the kitchen and talked about something for a long time, and a week later, we applied to the registry office. There was no mother-in-law at our wedding. Gleb flatly refused to call her. She was not there when our children were born, not to mention housewarming, birthdays, and other holidays. At first, I thought that the only problem was that Gleb didn't want to communicate with her, but then it turned out that they didn't want to communicate with her either. We have been living in our apartment for a long time. We are raising 2 children. We often go to visit my parents. Gleb has a great relationship with them. But from his family, he communicates only with his younger brother. They have a difference of 10 years, And now he is going the same way that Gleb once went. That is, he lives in that apartment and is graduating from university. Let's see if the mother-in-law has enough sense not to lose her second son because of her desire to control everyone and everything. How do you like this story? I think it's completely absurd to do this to your son, but it's not very convenient to live in your parents' apartment either. Share your opinion in the comments. It will be interesting for me to read. Well, I'm not saying goodbye to you. I'll see you tomorrow.